Okay, so I'm going to post in the chat, first of all, a link to the slides that I will be using. These are actually the slides for the whole day, for the whole track in PDF format. But the reason that you may want them for this session is because we're going to add some code to our FoodMe app. And I don't know how it'll be copying and pasting out of a PDF, but if you can copy it, it'll be easier than typing it. So if you were in our first session today, we added instrumentation to this FoodMe sample app. Okay, so we're using a website called glitch.com. We've made a fork of this application and added the license key for our account so that it would report to New Relic APM. And then we copied and pasted the JavaScript into the web page so that it would report to browser data to New Relic. I had some trouble with that because I had an ad blocking DNS on my network. But now that I have disabled that, I'm actually getting the browser data that I expected. So if I look here at my account, I can go to APM. And here's my Data Nerd Days FoodMe APM service. I just did a few transactions right before we started at the top of the hour, so you can see that data flowing in. And then there's a link up here over to the browser data. Remember, I don't know if you remember, but when I generated the JavaScript, I said, yes, I want to generate a JavaScript agent that's associated with this APM application. So because I associated them, New Relic knows that this browser app is associated with this APM service. And now I can click this. It'll take me over to the Data Nerd Days FoodMe browser app. And I can see that data flowing in. So the APM and the browser agents are giving us performance data about these applications. In the case of browser, we've got page load time. This is an APM, I'm sorry, a SPA, single page app. So it's showing me route changes in addition to full page loads. Back in APM, I've got server-side transaction times, throughput and requests per minute, etc. Right? This is all performance data that's generated automatically by our agents. I didn't have to make any changes to my application code. I just added the New Relic node agent to my server-side app, and it automatically instrumented the app. It's identifying these transactions. And in the browser, I made a change to the markup, to the HTML. I put some JavaScript at the top of the page, but that was it. And now that JavaScript is measuring page load times and route changes and that sort of thing. If I were the owner of the FoodMe company, though, if this were my company's website, what kinds of business metrics do you think I might be interested in? Not just performance data, but business data. Put on your entrepreneur hat and think about what kinds of questions you might want to answer about your seamless clone, your food ordering app. Dollar. Okay, Sam says money. How much money am I making? That's a good one. And we could break that down, not just total revenue, but we might want to know which restaurants are generating the most sales, right? So income or sales by restaurant, or which customers. We know who the person is placing the order. I mean, we might want to know which customers are spending the most stuff. Okay, good one, John. Which dishes, which items on the menu are the most popular? Very nice. Ticket price, average ticket price? I don't know. We're not selling tickets. Do you mean like the total sale, like the average total sale? Yeah, okay, good. Popular cuisine is good. I'm not going to do that today. I don't know how to do that, Jacob. But yeah, we've got different categories of cuisine. We might want to break it down by cuisine. I haven't figured out how to do that code. There's also the ratings. We've got, these are switched, by the way. We've got a column that says price that has stars, and we have a rating column that has dollar signs. These should be swapped. But yeah, we might want to know like which which ratings are generating the most sales, etc. But yeah, you can think of various business analytics we might be interested in. We could do breakdown by hour of the day or day of the week. What time periods do we generate the most sales, etc. So let's see if we have any of that now. I hope we don't. Maybe this will make a liar out of me. If I go up to query my data, which Rachel covered in the session before the lunch break, how to write NRQL queries. I'm going to go to the app, to the account that my app is reporting to, and I'm going to say from transaction where app name equals data nerd days food me. I want to know, like, get some data. Customer, restaurant, order total. Okay, so let's see if we have these values. No. Okay, good. I'm glad. I didn't expect to see them there. I would have been surprised and disappointed if they were there. So for this Data Nerd Days app, we are not currently capturing this custom data. Let's see what we have to do to make that happen. And then we can write some queries and create a dashboard with information about our app. So we're going to do two things. We're going to add custom attributes on the server side to gather details about our food order using a method of the Node Agent API called Add Custom Attributes. Now, this app happens to be a Node application, so we're going to use the Node Agents API, but all of our language agents have a similar method to collect custom attributes, whether it's Java, .NET, PHP, Python, Ruby, what else? Go, C++. All of our agents have the ability to add custom data. Then in the browser is our shopping cart. And so if we want to know which items people have in their cart when they check out, one way to do that is to capture it in the browser. So we're going to call a method of our JavaScript agent API called addPageAction. And whenever somebody submits an order, we're going to loop through their shopping cart and create an action called order item for each item in the cart. So that way we can track which items are being ordered most frequently. Okay, so those are the two steps. First of all, on the server side code, here's where you may want to copy this code out of the PDF if that's possible. So the file you want in Glitch is server/index.js. You want to find the code that handles a post. See that? app.post to API_URL_order. So that's posting to the order endpoint. Right now, there's only two lines in the body of that method. There's console.log request.body, and then there's, whoa. I don't want to change slide. I was trying to scroll down and it changed my slides. There's console.log request body, and then there's return a 201 response. Okay, so that's the only code that's there now. Your assignment is to copy the bold-faced code out of this slide or type it and put it in that file. So, let's see, let me make this bigger. And once again, you can make my screen share full screen by clicking the little expando rectangle in the lower right corner if you need that. Okay, so I've put this code in here, commented out, just to make it quicker. Move that comment and remove this comment. Okay, so this is where we want to end up. In the app.post API URL order in, where am I? Server index.js. We're going to log the request body. Then we'll assign that object to a variable called order. We'll initialize a couple of counters. Item count equals 0, order total equals 0, then loop through each item in the order and increment the item count by the quantity of that item and the order total by the quantity times the price. So now we've got number of items and order total, and we're ready to send that data to New Relic. So here's the line that actually adds the data. New Relic.add custom attribute. We're going to get the customer name out of the order. We're going to get the restaurant name out of the order. And then we're going to add our two values that we just calculated up above, item count and order total. And then we return our success code back to the browser. Okay, now this is not actually sending data directly to New Relic at that moment. It's adding attributes to this transaction event, and the APM agent accumulates these events and sends them once per minute. So there's not actually any overhead to add custom attributes. It's not actually posting any data. It's just adding metadata to our transaction event. And then all those transaction events get sent once per minute up to New Relic. Okay. Anybody need more time to add that code? So we're capturing customer, restaurant, number of items, and total order amount added to the transaction event. Okay, need more time, going once. Tell me in the chat if you need more time. Going twice. Nobody said anything. Okay, so then next slide. Here's what we're going to do in the browser code. So we're going to go to app/js/services/cart.js. This is the JavaScript for our cart object in Angular. And there's a method on the cart called submit order. So here's where it says, if there are items in the cart, then post to the API order. And I skipped that post code. Then after the post, we're going to send the response back. Right before we send that response, we're going to add this bold code, loop through the items in the shopping cart. And for each one, call add page action with an action called order item that will have the following attributes: restaurant name, item name, and quantity ordered. Okay, we could have done this on the server side with a custom event called item ordered or something. But just to show you how to add code in the browser, I wanted to show another way to do it here. Okay, so again, I have this already in my app. Here's my app.js services cart. Here's the submit order method of the cart object. And here's that code. I'll just remove the comments. There we go. If I try to save manually by hitting Command S, it says glitch auto saves. You don't have to do that. So just FYI, if you're concerned about your changes not getting saved. All right, and once again, does anyone need more time to make these changes? Going once, going twice. Okay, so once you've made those changes, then place some more orders to generate that data. So I'm going to reload my page, make sure I get the latest JavaScript and stuff. And I'm going to place some orders. So let's see. Let's look at American food, Burgerama. Good that we're doing this after lunch, so we're not going to be all hungry cheeseburger and fries, chocolate milkshake. What else? Firehouse chili. Okay. Fortunately, you only have to enter that payment info once. It'll remember that as I order more stuff. Let's go back to the checkpoint, our Czechoslovakian restaurant. There used to be a place by our office called Schnitzelwitch that made really good schnitzel sandwiches. I miss that place. There needs to be beer on this menu. Where's the beer? All right, I'm going to just place a few orders. Mexican. Got any combo platters here? I don't see anything. A beef burrito, a chicken burrito, chips and guac. That's enough. Okay. All right. So I've placed some orders. Hopefully you've placed some orders as well. So now you can create a new dashboard, or if you have one that you created in the previous NRQL session, you can add your widgets to that dashboard. I'm going to do a new one. So I will go to Homepage, Dashboards, create a dashboard in NRU training. And I'm going to call this Phil's Food Me Dashboard. Okay, now we're going to add some charts. So let's see how many of these you can figure out. Here are the questions we want to answer about our Food Me data. How many orders have there been in the past 24 hours? Here's a hint. Count all transactions where app name equals whatever your Food Me app is called. Mine is actually called Data Nerd Days Food Me. So number of transactions for your app name and a transaction name like wildcard/API/order. That's just to save you from having to type the full transaction name. Okay, so this is number of order transactions. And then if I want the past 24 hours, I'm going to have to put a since 24 hours ago or since 1 day ago. Then, which are the most popular restaurants, meaning which ones had the most orders. So I could facet those number of orders by restaurant. Or next, which are the most active customers? Facet the first query by customer. What's the average order amount? Select average of order total from transaction, blah, blah, blah. And which customers spend the most money? In that case, I want to sum the order total attribute and facet by customer. And then using our browser data to figure out which are the most popular items, we're going to sum the quantity of items from the page action event where the action name equals order item and facet by item name by item. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes. We actually have 30 minutes left to do this, so plenty of time. Give you some time to do this, and then I will do them in my account. All right, how we doing? No rush, but I don't want you to be bored either. So anyone need more time? Nope. So if I go back to that query that I did earlier to show that that data was not flowing in, let me run it again. Nope. Still not having any. Why not? Where app name is that? And transaction name is like, there's the full name for the order transaction. I want to put a wild card. I can do that. Let's see if that maybe. There we go. All right, so I have other transactions that didn't have those values, but now I can see my 3 orders that I just placed now are populating the customer, restaurant, and order total attributes. So that's working. Let's add a chart to my FoodMe dashboard. The first one was number of orders in the last 24 hours. So count from transaction where app name equals data nerd days FoodMe and transaction name is like API order. Wild card at the front, the percent sign. Since 1 day ago. Now, my app has only been running since this morning, so I won't have a lot of orders. 14 orders in the last 24 hours. Okay. I'm going to put a name, a title over this widget and say, number of orders past 24 hours. Okay. Heading on there. And then there are various chart types. So this one is called a billboard, which is just a big numeric value. Maybe I don't want it to say transactions, so I could use the as operator here to call these orders instead of transactions if I want. Now it says 14 orders. There's another type that's kind of interesting called a bullet. A bullet allows me to specify a target. So maybe my target is 100 orders per day. So if I say I want 100 a day, I'm currently at 14, and it'll tell me like a thermometer, oh, you're at 14% of goal. And then as I view this dashboard throughout the day, hopefully I'll see this number climbing higher. So that's a bullet. That's an interesting way to visualize that. Okay, I'll go ahead and add this to my dashboard. What else? Let's add another widget. I can take that previous query from my recent queries list. And we want to know which restaurants are getting the most orders. So I'm going to take this same query, number of transactions for this app and this transaction name, facet by restaurant. And okay, I ordered 1 each from various restaurants, so that's the billboard. When you have a facet, you might want to do a bar chart or a pie chart. Now, this pie chart is interesting. I had 4 orders since I added the custom code to capture the restaurant name, but I had 10 orders before that where I have no restaurant name. So they're showing up as other. I do have the ability to hide other down here. I can just turn that off. Or I could change my query. to say, what? How could I get rid of other using my NRQL? I'm only interested in transactions that have a value for restaurant. So I could say, give me the number of transactions where app name is my app, transaction name is order, and restaurant, let's hit the caps key. Restaurant is not null. Okay, that'll weed out these 10 orders that have no value for restaurant. Okay, so that has the same effect as turning off the other visibility here, but I can just filter those out of my data. Okay, and I'll call this most popular restaurants and add this to my dashboard. Okay, now I want to do basically the same thing except faceting by customer instead of restaurant. Which customers have placed the most orders? So I can copy this widget. Oh, no, I don't want to copy it. I want to duplicate it on this dashboard. Duplicate, that's what I want. There we go. Now I've got a copy of it, a duplicate, and I can edit the copy to say, instead of most popular restaurants, we could say most active customers. And what do I change in my query? Select number of transactions for this app and this transaction where customer is not null. Facet customer. Okay, so I had 3 orders from Data Nerd and 1 order from Data Nerd Days. Go ahead and add that guy. What else? Average order amount. Maybe this one I want to track over time, although I've only got, not very much time of data. So instead of 24 hours, I'm going to do like the last 30 minutes. So let's do another widget. I'm going to select from transaction where app name is my app and transaction name is place an order. I want the average order total. Since 30 minutes ago time series. Let's see how that looks. Oh, have I not placed an order in the last 30 minutes? Let's pick a longer time frame. All right, why am I not getting data? Well, let's do this. I'm going to add the where is not null. And order total. It's going to be null or 0. I don't know. We'll try is not null. Let's see what that does. Nope. I don't know why I'm not getting data. I am sending order total, aren't I? Order total. There it is. If I do select star, I can see all of the data. Oh, and I'll put a, just for the order transaction, where transaction name equals API order. There's order total. Okay, I've got a value. Okay, now I'm getting a number. That was weird. Okay. Well, I only have 3 orders that were placed over about 2 minutes. So the time series is not very exciting. I'll just do a number. Okay, so my average order is $21.30. My maximum order is $24.35. My minimum order is $18.45. Okay, so I could do some information about orders. I'll do average. Average order, put this on my dashboard. Which customers spend the most money? So I want to total or sum the order total attribute and then group by customer. Let's do that. Select the sum. So this is the total of the totals. Where app name equals nerd days and transaction name equals order set customer. Okay, well, I placed them all with the same customer name, but this would be a nice breakdown if I had multiple customers ordering. But this data nerd customer has ordered a total of $63.80. I'm not going to bother with that because it's not very interesting. And finally, which items in our shopping cart are the most popular? So we're going to do a different event now. We're going to say from page action, where action name is order item. I want to know what. Do I want the count? Page actions faceted by item name. What's that going to give me? Anyone? You guys still awake? Let me do another order here. I'm going to order egg rolls, human dumplings, pot stickers, and General Tso's chicken. When I go to checkout, I'm going to change my quantities. I want 10 orders of egg rolls and 3 orders of pot stickers. A big party. And 2 General Tso's chicken. Okay. So if I do count of order item events, there's 4 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to tell me how many times each item appeared in the shopping cart. But that's not what I want. I don't want number of times they appeared. What do I want? I want to know how many items were ordered. Yeah, the quantity. Okay, so instead of count, let's do this one. My Chinese food hasn't shown up yet. Oh, also by default, a query is going to show you 10 items, 10 results. So my Chinese food is not in the top 10. I can increase that by adding a limit. You make 20 items and then it should show up. Okay, there we go. There's my General Tso's chicken, my pot stickers, my egg rolls. Okay, so this is saying one each. It was in the cart one time. That's what count is giving me. But if I want to get the quantity, how many were ordered, then I would change this to sum of quantity. And then my pot stickers and egg rolls should show up at the top of the list because I had multiple of those items. There we go. 10 egg rolls, 3 pot stickers, 2 General Tso's. Okay, so that's what I want, is the number of the total quantity of each item, not just how many times it was in the cart. Got it? I'll call this most popular items. Okay, so now I've got some business data. How many orders, which restaurants are getting the most orders, which customers are placing the most orders, what's the average order total, and what are the most popular items that are being ordered. Now, what if I want to be able to filter this dashboard by restaurant or by customer? So if I go into these, any widget based on a facet, I'll go to this one, edit the query, or edit the chart, I should say. And over here, I can say, I want to be able to filter the current dashboard by restaurant. Okay, so I'm toggling that filter on. Save that. I'll do the same thing with customer. Edit. Filter. Okay, now when I select a restaurant, notice that as I roll over these, either the segments of the pie chart or the names in the legend, I have a little filter, a little funnel icon. So I can say, looking only at Burgerama, right? If I click on this, it's going to add a where restaurant equals Burgerama, and all the rest of my widgets are going to filter to that, only for Burgerama. There was one order with an average of $18.40 placed by customer data nerd, and here were the 3 items that were in that order. Okay. How about show me there were 3 orders by data nerd. Let's click that widget. Here's the data for customer equals data nerd. There were 4 orders. I don't know why this says 3. 4 orders. Here are the 4 restaurants, $35.60. Now, why is there nothing here? Because my page action data doesn't have customer name in it. So it cannot filter my items in the cart by customer. I'm not capturing customer name. So if I wanted that, I'd add the customer name to this event, and then I could also see it by customer. So by adding this filter dashboard feature to your faceted charts, you can make them interactive, and people can click on an item and say, show me the data just for this restaurant or just for this customer, etc. It's another Bit more advanced feature. It's kind of cool. We got 3 minutes left. Any last questions about custom attributes? How to add it, how to query it, ideas about how you would do something? So Hector says, first you add the code to the application or browser, then you can run NRQL. Yes, you need to modify your code to capture the custom data before you can query it. I could have queried the standard data, like response time, how many times each transaction was executed, right? Our agents gather stuff by default, and that's available right away. But if I want business data, like which items are people buying, or which customers are spending the most money, or how much money, or that you have to add in your application code before it becomes available for querying. I'll show you one more kind of cool thing. It's not in the FoodMe data, but we have another sample app in our training account called Ecom. Is it in Ecom? Yeah. From transaction where app name equals Ecom. And is that what I want? No, nothing else. Just okay. So in the case of this e-commerce app, making a purchase involves several steps. A customer will typically visit the home page of the store. Maybe they search for an item and view it. Then they add that item to their shopping cart. Finally, when they've added everything they want, they go to the checkout page and then they pay. So I want to know, in that series of actions, where am I losing people? Where are people abandoning the transaction? And we have a visualization called a funnel. The first parameter of the funnel is some way to group them together. So you could do it by account ID or email address. It turns out that we generate a random session ID when somebody visits your site for the first time. So I'm going to group these by session. Within a session, first of all, tell me how many people visit the homepage where the transaction is blah, blah, blah homepage. And I'm going to give this a nice label of home page. Okay, so that'll start by telling me how many homepage visits were there. Of those, how many clicked on an item? As click item. Then how many added that item to their shopping cart? Add to cart. And how many got to the checkout page? And finally, how many got to the pay page, went to give us the money? Okay, so a funnel is some way to group these actions together. In this case, I'm doing it by session ID. So within a session, and then I just have a series of where clauses to select my actions. They visited the home page, they clicked on an item, they added the item to the cart, they got to the checkout page, and finally they gave me money, pay. From transaction where app name is ecom since 1 day ago. Let's see. There we go. So in the last 24 hours, there were about 18,500 sessions that visited the homepage. Of those, about 60.5% clicked on an item, just under 32% added it to the cart, 27.5% got to the checkout, and 12.2% completed the transaction. So that's interesting. Like if you have an application where people perform a series of sequential steps and you want to know how many of them are completing the process and where they're dropping out, a funnel is a nice way to visualize that. Okay, and with that, I'm done. Any last questions? If not, enjoy your break. The same applies to browser and APM, possibly. I mean, you can use funnel with either one. I did transaction, which is APM data. You could do it with page view. You're not going to do name for page view. You would probably do URL, page URL for browser data. Okay, enjoy your 8-minute break. And the next session is about alerts coming up at the top of the hour. See you then.